good, everybody? Hi, welcome to my channel, The American Heiress. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. So I figure we're gonna listen to some music before I get into anything. Welcome. Hey, how is everybody?
Sometimes I'm lying, and I could be wrong. My own beliefs are in my song. The butcher, the baker, the drummer, and then makes no difference what group I'm in. I am everyday people.
Welcome. How are you?
There is a blue one who can't accept the green one, for living with the fat one, trying to be the skinny one, different strokes,
Hi,
different
Pete.
folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. We got to live together.
So I figured
I am no better, and neither are you.
Better idea.
We are the same, whatever we do. You love me, you hate me, you know me, and then you can figure out the bag I'm in. I am everyday people.
There is a long hair that doesn't like the short hair,
We're gonna
for
pull
being
apart.
such a rich
We'll get
one
to
that
the
will not
answers
have the
in
blue
the
one, different strokes, or different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. We got to live together. There is a yellow one that won't accept the black one, that won't accept the red one, that won't accept the white one. Different strokes.
Okay, you know what? It's always this part.
And so on and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
For your track, the blessings from the son of Hanapacha.
Everyday people.
What y'all know about that? What y'all know about that? Anyway, welcome. Interesting. Blessings from the son of Hanapacha. Welcome, everybody. And we also have Estenatelvi with Turquoise Changing Woman. I'm loving that. Blessings from the son of Hanapacha. I'm just going to read the little intro to each one so we can get it. Hey, what's good, Cyberview? Welcome. Welcome, everybody. How's your weekend been? Yes. Okay, so here we go. And even the ones I've been, because I record my own videos, okay? And so recently I watched one, and this one came up, and even like the past 3 or I feel like this has been coming up every single time in this deck. The blessings from the son of Hanapacha. So let's read. Condor swiftly brings the will of great spirit to earth through the gift of powerful medicine. Despite great odds, even in the face of what may appear to be an inevitable defeat, extraordinary triumph is at hand. This is the prophecy of resurrection, of the rising up of what was thought to be lost. It shall happen with unexpected and surprising swiftness. Your divine destiny is now held in the guiding hand of a great spiritual master. Okay, there's something about the rising up and the return, the rebirth, and that it's like the fact that it's in the hand of a spiritual master, it's out of our hands now. All we have to do is show up. This is good. Let me see. Oh, that's really hot. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Okay. Condors are born with their eyes open, but do not have the vocal cords to speak. You have already seen clearly. Trust in this, even if you struggle to find the words to express all that you see. Condors reveal emotion through changing in their skin color. This is a reminder to trust what your body is telling you. Your bodily intuition is a form of wisdom. You have spiritual connection to the cosmic Christ consciousness, the universal sacred heart, seeking to awaken itself in humanity. Your divine life purpose involves assuming the role of leader, guide, healer, and earth warrior for love on this planet in your own unique way. An inviolable spiritual protection surrounds you. Okay. Oh, this is really deep, you guys. Hey, what's good, Red Star? Welcome. That's my eagle call. I love it. I'm liking the globes and the emoji. That's a great emoji. Okay, let me see. And then number 2. I am the turquoise moon mother, and I come to you now with a message of change. This may be the change that you want or a change that you fear. But either way, I will show you how to use this change to become stronger, wiser, and more empowered to fulfill your divine destiny. Do not fear the changes around you and within you. Trust in the timing of what is happening in your world. Okay? It says change is upon you. It is essential for your continued growth, and you do not need to fear it. As you allow for this change, remain steadfast in your inner spiritual connection. This gives you courage, trust, peace, and reassurance, and you will find ways to navigate the shift so that your life improves through the process. If you're thinking of making a change, you are encouraged to do so without trying to force it. Be open and do your part to the best of your ability, but also tune in to your sense of divine timing, asking the universe for help, allowing life to unfold according to its own rhythm of creative, loving intelligence. I'm just writing some. So the change that's upon you is this huge success, something that you didn't see coming because you felt like you failed. There's a huge shift coming. And it involves you stepping up and doing something different to open up your heart with the sacred heart and the Christ consciousness. That is hilarious. Oh no, I'm already spoken for, Pete. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna just pull some ancestor cards. How's everybody doing? Chat. Jeez. All right, let's see. Hey, big chillin'. I love it, Red Star. I'm embracing peace at this time. Okay, let's see. How crazy is this, you guys? The eagle. Wasn't I just doing an eagle call like 2 minutes ago? I was like, how does the eagle sound? I might not be doing it at all. That might be a pterodactyl. Doesn't matter. It says, see from a higher perspective. I'm going to have to read this one. The eagle's coming through. Who had the eagles in the chat? What's good, Red Star? We chilling, huh? The eagle. Hey, Joseph, what's good? Hi. All right, so let's see. And then we also have the fire guardian with ignite your passions. So let's check into these, and then we're gonna Oh, hi Tamara, welcome. What's good, sis? I'm loving the feathers. We got the feathers in the chat. Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. Ooh, this is deep. All right, so let me get into this. Welcome, y'all. Okay, so let's see. The eagle has landed. Ooh. Let me taste some. Hey, it was good, Canary. The eagle. The eagle screeches. Something like that. I'm silly, guys. That's hilarious. All right, let me see. Yeah, the eagle's coming through strongly. Let's hear the wisdom from the eagle. Jeez. All right. Look at things from a different angle. Fly higher and see new possibilities. In animal medicine, both Native American and Celtic, the eagle draws his power and strength from the sun. He is a powerful, strong, and courageous guide who is able to see for miles. He approaches all things with intelligence, grace, and poise, and has the capacity to make a plan from a higher space before putting it into action. When the eagle card appears in a reading, it shows that you have a real ability to take things higher and to move beyond the limitations of your ego and selfish desires. Oh my God, you guys. The extended message, because we're getting into it. Thank you, eagle. Come through. Eagle medicine swirls around you, encouraging you to recognize that your views or vision may be limited at this time. Is there a chance that your own desperation, needs, or ego could be blocking you from seeing the potential in your current situation? This is deep, you guys. Oh my God. If there are other people involved, you're being guided to see things from everyone's perspective. If you're feeling the need for something to change, how can you take the higher road? Know that if you have intentions that aren't for the highest good, it will only hold you back. Eagle medicine can help you change this. The eagle brings the energy of healing and love directly from the heart of Father Sky and invites you to do all things from a place of love. You guys listen. This is deep because like I don't know. I feel like honestly, I really needed to hear that at this moment because it's like personally, collectively, we've been tasked with doing our part in spreading the truth for the original Americans. That's me personally, really, but collectively, if you're watching, and if you're new here, that's kind of that's really what this channel is about. It's about the restoration of the original American people as it relates to the woodland territories of like the South, but also just really indigenous people all over the earth. But here with the FAIRE, we are here to set the record straight as far as, you know, the misclassification of people that they're calling African American, and teaching that people have always been here and that we're actually the original migrants. We can roll the clips and the videos in a second. But really what I want to say is like, I've been thinking about this all day, kind of like, yeah, I know exactly who I need to talk to about this. I don't want to get into this, but it's like we have to understand that it's imperative that we plan and that we continue to organize and network. Okay. That's pretty much what I'm going to say about that part. But anyway, let's look into the other part real quickly because I'm taking way too much time with this. I'm having a moment. I'm processing the too. I hope the message is good for you guys as well. Love you guys. All right, let me see. Connect with your desires. The sparks could lead to something beautiful. Ooh. Okay. The fire guardian represents the angels of fire. Fire is an energy that many people are afraid of but shouldn't be. Burning desires can lead to great expansion. Allow the fire guardian to help you awaken a wilder side of yourself and burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desires. When this card appears, you are reminded that passion is powerful and absolutely encouraged by spirit. Interesting. You're being guided by your angels to connect with the powerful energy of desire at this time. If you have recently set an intention to explore your sexual side or become more sexually open, the fire of desire can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. If you're in a relationship, this card can indicate a great spiritual and sexual connection. Yeah, that took an interesting turn I wasn't expecting. So yeah, and it's actually making the message super deep. But anyway, let's move on from the ancestor cards, y'all. This is interesting. Anyway, I was thinking about the 4th of July and about how my message about Juneteenth could take time to reflect. It's reflection time. You got to unleash the wild within and follow the voice of your soul, the star ancestor. Okay. All right, y'all. So yeah. What do you call it? Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I was saying. Oh yeah, about how the Juneteenth message about how we celebrate Juneteenth and go back to work, and how are we really free? And the same thing with the 4th of July. It's like people act like I don't know what people really think about, but the fact that I would think our founding fathers would, that would be controversial, but it's not. I feel like what does that mean? Yeah. Tech G. Mama Mike, what's that mean? Pete, what does it mean? Share with us so I know the phrase then. Anyway. All right, listen.
For the acute treatment.
Anyway, Hold on a second.
Make me shine just a little bit, just a little bit. Send my mind just a little bit, just a little bit. Keep me high, baby, just a little bit, just a little bit. Can we spend some time?
Can you guys hear the music? I hope so. It was Sing Truth Be Told. All right. All right, let's turn it on. All right, y'all. No, but you know, I started this channel to I don't know, to share my thoughts, to heal people. Cam got that on Linktree. What's that? What's that? It was good. Let's follow Truth Be Told on Linktree. I'm not on Linktree. I don't know what that. Oh, what is Tree? Is that a social media? Find out. Let me find out. What's good, you guys? I wanted to be able to heal people. I wanted to be able to start this restoration. So if you guys don't know, I'm gonna get into that really quickly about what I do as far as great future when you click it. I'm not on there. What do you call it though? Let's see. Oh yeah. So basically what happened was when I started to research my family history, I found out that my ancestors weren't nameless slaves from Africa, but they were actually the indigenous people of America. And that, you know, when you start to really dig into all of the facts, you start to, the truth will be revealed that the South was filled with people that they were calling colored people, African Americans, Negroes, whatever. You know the history when you're looking back, and there was the colored side of town, and the white side of town, and jazz and hush puppies and cornbread and all that. The colored folks, okay, were actually there first. You know, we was here first, and when America was colonized, that's when you start to see the racism, the lynchings, and all that. That was just colonization, and nothing has ever been rectified because we really don't have any true representation from that perspective, and that's why nobody even really knows what we're talking about. So I mean, like, what do I mean by when you dig into stuff? Like, I'm talking about like the census records and stuff. Did you know that the census, in the original census records for the first 70 years of its existence, there's only two categories, racial groups, ethnic groups. You were either colored folks or white folks. Let's see. Let's see, here you go. And so 1790, as you see, it says free white males. Let me, oh my goodness. I'm glad. Free white males, free white females, or all other free persons, which over here towards the right, you see are classified as black, right? Colored folks, the Negroes, okay? It was just us and white folks. And mind you, there is a huge percentage of us considered free. Okay, 1790 is at the height of what they were considering slavery. And I can get into all that, like what slavery really is, and how we're still living in it today. And that's what I really meant in the beginning about the founding fathers and how they would be like, F this right now. Because it's like, okay, listen. The whole entire reason why they wanted to get Britain off their back was because of like the taxes. Okay. And now the system is so screwed, and we're at a moment in history where the things that should be provided for are being stripped at an all-time high. And this gets into how you contract into the system and how they're teaching people to contract within the system, and why that is. Okay, now this is getting into like some sort of a but anyway, let me get into it. 1830, 1840, 1850. Okay, and what's so interesting is 1850 is the first decade that we start to see mulatto. Mulatto were the mixtures between the colored and the white sides. Okay, it was just white folks and black folks. The white people settled here. The black people are originally here. How do I know that? Okay, we're gonna get into it. And then comes the American Indian, 1860, which is I mean, a lot of things happened in 1860, including Reconstruction, okay, and not just in 1860, but I'm talking about in the 1860s, okay, where they were telling the indigenous people all over to take on the status of colored, okay. That's not really what I was talking about. I'm trying to get into exactly what we mean by the people that they're calling African American are the original Americans. And the thing is this, I realized that this is going back to the eagle, okay? I'm talking about like, it's like I'm realizing that it's like, to see things from a higher perspective, these lessons aren't going to cut it. And I've said that before. And this is my issue with the, how I felt about this channel in the past too. Why I would get so frustrated, because it's like, we have to find better ways to be able to, share this knowledge with people and educate folks. And and I'm realizing, and not even realizing, I'm refocusing on that, and happy to share with you guys real quickly. So yeah, we're talking about how we were the first documented here, but as well as that, let me see. What's this? There you go. This gets into stuff like, I'll even share this, the emblem of America. This is an allegorical figure representing American peoples. Okay, this is depicted in 1801 with the symbolic elements of strength and resilience, published by Haynes and Son. Okay, let's see, in London. Now, when you go to the website, You can find this on the foundation. So if I didn't mention already, I also am the founder of a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to preserving images like this, as well as, you know, the restoration and the education and education of the true identity of like the original Americans, the people that they're calling African American. Doesn't matter. If you go to the website, it's FAIRE Rules, FAIRE Rules RULES.org. You'll be able to find the links to this, but you can just even Google an emblem of America in BritishMuseum.org. When you go there, it says this is a representation of American peoples, and so I mean, look at her. She's beautiful. She's a bad mama jama. She's got richly complected copper skin, thick hips, thick lips. She's a bad mama jama. Okay, and let's see. And then this gets into what exactly is an American. American is a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or the copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Okay, originally applied to the Aboriginals. Okay, the original Americans. Oh, and I should note that, you know, who these images, these depictions of. This is a woman of the Uchi Indians, the Uchi of Georgia. You can find this on the New Georgia Encyclopedia.org under like Georgia Indians. Okay, but you see she has woolly hair, copper tone skin, brown skin. She's an Aborigine or a Black people. The Black people we've always been here, but we have been misclassified because we were supplanted. And this gets into, you know, why I'm doing this. Hi, what's good, Daryl Butler? Welcome. It says, we have the most amazing history that is second to none. We are studied more than any group of people. That melanin runs deep in our veins. It energizes our spirit. We are truly the original people. Okay, yes. And, you know, of all lands, the original people were originally, you know what I mean, darker skin. And I saw something. I'll have to, maybe I'll play it for you guys. What was I saying? I don't want to spend so much time queuing it up. That'll be for next time. But it was about basically about that, about how I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole right now. But yes, when it comes to us being the original people, oh yeah, we're talking about the definition of American. So the part that I really want to get the word out the most is what we've discovered with Ancestry.com. And let's see. Is that, you know, for this region, on Ancestry.com's DNA test, there's another portion of the test, okay, that basically, so one, they say there's no indigenous communities. Like, if you look at the list for this area, there are no so-called Native American communities of these lands. But that area is filled with two different types of communities. There's either the African American communities, and then there are the European settler communities, right? What we're seeing is they're prefacing it with African, but at the end of the day, they're the only American communities there. And it gets specific down to the county. American communities that were settled and surrounded and encroached by the settlers, okay? And what they've done is they've created the story that said that they brought us here from Africa so that they can continue to subject us to this debt slavery, okay? But we Black folks used to live here for free. And in fact, all people of the earth used to live here for free. And that's pretty much it. And so what I've been wanting to do is continue to find ways to be able to teach the children more streamlined. In fact, I was I realize I'm trying to find things. I'm like, Matechi means, is it Tekchi? Means female on Shata. Miko. Techi, female leader. Oh yeah, I remember the Miko and the Makos. Okay. Give me the pronunciation. I'm loving that. Oh, how cool. Thanks, Jeremy. Anyway, so interesting. Oh, so yeah. So that's basically it. So we've what we're finding out is yeah. So this is Truth Be Told talking about adopting the title Indian for the 5 civilized tribes. And the 5 civilized tribes, as far as I've read, the many original American clans. Well, yeah. So basically, what happened was the truth behind the Trail of Tears is that the majority of the people who were on the Trail of Tears were of mixed heritage. They were, a lot of them were mixed bands, and then the full-blooded people they were calling freemen, the free people. Okay, and the mixed bands were there with their, the white side. They were, who were the Indian agents, the escorts. I know that because I come from one of those bands of people, one of those mixed branches called the Hildebrands. What was going on was these Indian agents were declaring themselves chiefs of these tribes, and they were creating these. They were corporations. They weren't the real blood people. It was just, and that's why the spelling is different. It'll be like Choctaw, Chotaw, right? When the original people would have, and it's like, and that's even getting into different things because it's like, the original people wouldn't have been using the English letters anyway, but it would be, pronounced Chata, right? Chata. Hey, what's good? Hey, hi, the real attentionist defense league. Welcome. Hey, welcome. So yeah, and so what they're doing was they were then, funneling all the inheritance, all the money for the blood people, because a lot of what people don't talk about, some people do, I don't know, but what I haven't mentioned a lot is that there was huge division within the tribes and the clans and the original freed people, because certain bloodlines became, whether it was consensual or they got raped into or whatever by the settlers, those children, the mixed children, became it was compromised, and they were listening to their white side, and they were acting on behalf of the tribe, but really within the interest of their, the settlers. And so some things that were signed away and people started to move, they were like, okay, yeah, well, we're moving, but that wasn't us. It was just their branch, and they were already contracted by the government from their white side to escort the people to Indian territory. Okay, and then that gets into a whole entire thing about the Oklahoma land rush. I'll never forget when I was a teacher in the Central Valley, they were giving away these or selling them for cheap or whatever, the used computers of that year. And in the email, the guy said, yeah, the sale starts at 8 or whatever. This is Oklahoma land rush rules or something like that, which means people get there an hour or so early, and everything was gone by the time everybody else got there, right? And that was the story with the Oklahoma land rush, was that let me see. Let me make sure I get it right. But what was interesting about that was they had already the Oklahoma land rush was a series of events where the U.S. government opened previously designated Native American land in Oklahoma to settlement by non-Native Americans. Okay? The first and most famous land run occurred on April 22nd, 1889, when approximately 50,000 people staked claims to 2 million acres of unassigned lands. Okay? This event and subsequent land runs significantly impacted the demographics and development of Oklahoma, ultimately contributing to its statehood in 1907. A background: the Oklahoma land rush was part of a larger policy of forced relocation and allotment of Native American lands, driven by the desire for westward expansion and agricultural development. And as it relates to the timing, on April 22nd, 1889, at noon, a starting signal, cannon fire, or a bugle or rifle shot, launched thousands of settlers known as boomers into the assigned lands. Individuals who illegally entered the territory before the official start time were called Sooners. The Sooners, right? Anyway, but yeah, basically it's like there's a long history. What are you guys talking about? Crickets on the pole. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Hey, it was good. It was good. Angst of Cetra. We're in here talking about American history, and we're talking about the migration patterns of people, and really what's going on as it relates to American identity and DNA, and who has been able to consider themselves American and indigenous. So you'll see, right? Basically, like, even the fact, okay, so listen, if there was only colored and white, and we know that, okay, because it's like, stop, people act stupid when they really get into this, because it's like, there's not enough evidence. What are you talking about? The only evidence that there is would be like these census records and things like that. There was only colored people and white folks, okay? According to the census record, according to the DNA records, there's only colored and white folks, okay? For this land, there aren't any Native American communities, but there are African American communities and European settler communities. This is also reflected in the definition of American. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals, okay, who knew that America's original inhabitants were Aboriginals, okay, or the copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. This is from Webster's Dictionary, 1828. But when you start to look into this, so let me get into the. So if there's only colored and white, did you guys know that according to the Oxford English Dictionary, definition 3A, an N-word, okay, is a dark-skinned person of any origin, but in early U.S. usually with reference to American history, American Indians. Should have said in early U.S. history, used usually with reference to American Indians. Okay, so it was either you were an N-word or you weren't. Okay, and what we're finding out is that, like I said, okay, when I'm talking about the Trail of Tears and how a lot of those people that were this gets deep too, because it's like, I don't know. Hold on a second, guys. Y'all can listen to it while I press mute on mine, right? I'm put on something different. Let me see something. All right. Okay. Hey, hi, what's good, Misa L? Only the wise. I don't know what it was there. 1 second. 3 minutes ago in my story. Wait, what are we talking about? Those foreign youth learn the Sami culture, which is from Sweden. Well, that's interesting. I'll add this to this as well. In both the United States and Canada, the children there brought with them their foreign cultures and learned a new foreign culture. Well, exactly. And then they're calling that American. But what's so funny is it's like the real American culture is Black culture. Just like here, like all of the pop culture and stuff is from Black folks because just like if you would go to any other country, the popular culture of the area is of the people, right? And so, truth be told, a lot of those places, too, there's still many of the original people there too, and it's probably influenced by them. It's like everything always gets this whitewash, and just and the stealing of history and heritage, and that's what what's going on with us, and the thing. I'm trying to find out what truth be told. Someone remind me, please, so I know. I want to remind me of which part are we talking about. Hey, what's good? Each one shall teach one. 10 years after the Oklahoma land rush, you have the Wilmington insurrection. It's like we were attacked in the cities and country. And let's get into that. You guys want to go into the Wilmington insurrection? Wilmington. You talking about Wilmington, North Carolina? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna read about it. Let me see. What else am I missing? Okay. Funny. So yeah, that's all part of the takeover, and that gets into what I was going to say about the personal family history, about how this a lot of what was built through this government, they learned from the Powhatan people, the original people of Virginia, who built who built a huge confederacy, okay, and who taught the early Virginia settlers how to bathe and how to hunt and how to, all their trade routes. And we if it wasn't for the indigenous people, that they wouldn't have survived. And what's so funny is now in that 1619 project, they're trying to say it was the African people who taught them all those things. Do you understand what I'm saying? How they're now rewriting history in the moment. And we have been accepting this, but it's like there has to be somebody that says, no, okay, hold on, no, 1 second, we need to recheck this, and we can't just continue to just blindly accept, because their voices are bigger than ours at this moment. We just have to continue to make our voices big and loud, and to continue to amplify it through sharing things. And this is reminding me of like all of the work that still needs to be done, and that vacation time is over, babe. We're gonna have to get it together. But yes, let's look into the Wilmington insurrection. In fact, I'm gonna share it with us so we can look. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. Perhaps if we're looking specifically, like, just at it through a legalese viewpoint, I'm responding to this is good. This is a good topic, right? According to the legislative intent only, corporations are supposed to be taxed. This Indians not taxed seems more like a compromise creation to usurp private clan rights. Perhaps, yes, but I feel like just as an indigenous being of the land, okay, who is anyone, any corporation to tax me, period, right? Because we would be the creditors in the situation, not the debtors, and that's the whole entire thing. It's like that's another reason why they didn't want us to know exactly who we were, because then we would say, hey, hold on, no, you guys have set up the shop and this whole entire system here in our land, and you're expecting us to have to pay for it so that we can live and we can continue to enjoy our birthrights. But the birthright was usurped, okay, through this switcheroo of the identities, okay, because it's like when you look at it, this is deep. This is when we're looking at the definition of American, okay, no, not this one. It really gets down to it's as clear as black and white, okay? The original people, the original Americans, the copper-colored Aboriginals, okay? Now we have been told that we're from someplace else, like we got off of ships and all these things. And the people who have settled us here, they have now claimed American. That's why you hear people, we're American, American first, America first. Everything American is white, okay? You understand what I'm saying? That would be the second people who have been mentioned in this 1828 definition of American. The Europeans, okay, the Europeans, the descendants of Europeans born here in America, are now the ones who are considering themselves to be the Americans. And that's why when you look at somebody and they're, white, and they say that they're Cherokee or they're Choctaw or whatever, nobody questions them. You know what I mean? But if you're richly complected, if you're let's look at it again, a dark-skinned person, okay, that's whose ancestors were here from early U.S. Okay, let's get real specific. When we're talking about early U.S., we're talking about like the inception, right, of the United States. Right? When we're just celebrating the Independence Day, woo! Okay, we're looking here, 1790, the first census under the United States. There was only colored and white. The niggas, okay, and the white folks. They're, according to Oxford English Dictionary, those people that they were calling the N-words or the American Indians. And that's why today, the only people who can claim American communities, according to Ancestry.com, the only people whose DNA is attached to American communities are those they're calling African American. Okay? And it's like, what we have to do as a people is we'd have to band together to make sure that we stand on this information, so that we can then make certain declarations for the betterment of our lives and our situation here, so that we can stand up and be adults in the situation. We've left the affairs of our estates, okay, here in these lands, because we've been denationalized and well, not fully, but you understand what I'm saying. Our identity has been stripped from us so that we wouldn't claim authority over our own lives, okay? And that's the reason why they were bombing free towns, okay? Like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oh, did we get into the Wilmington Massacre? I'm sorry, y'all. Let's see what's going on up in here, y'all. 1 second. Oh, I'm gonna really quickly play this video, and then we're gonna get into that. So to tie everything together about what we stand on here at this organization called the FAIRE that I founded. Ooh. Sorry.
are the original Americans. History has been rewritten, but the truth remains. The foundation for American Indian restoration and education, or simply the FAIRE, is here to set the record straight. Our foundation is simple. The FAIRE stands on its signature original American identifiers to define what an original American truly is. Our mission is to uncover the truth, reconnect descendants, and restore a lost heritage. Through our FAIRE original American identifiers, we reveal the true identity of the original Americans. The emblem of America. The emblem of America is an allegorical figure from the British Museum and is noted to be an ethnic representation of the American people. So what exactly is an American? The definition of American. The 1828 Webster's Dictionary defines an American as a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginal, or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Colonial and U.S. Census records. Early U.S. Census records show that for the first 70 years, only two racial categories existed: colored and white. Who were these colored people? The FAIRE asserts that they were the original inhabitants of this land. DNA. Ancestry.com DNA analysis labels the only communities for the region of indigenous North America as either African American or European settler. Surprisingly, there aren't any Native American communities listed for these lands, leaving the African American communities, the only ones given the nationality American, proving that those labeled as African American today are the true original Americans. Your ancestry holds the key. The FAIRE encourages everyone to research their genealogy, connect with historical records, and rediscover their true roots. Every generation carries a piece of the story, one that deserves to be reclaimed. Join us in reclaiming history. Visit the FAIRE today. Connect with your roots and restore your identity.
Okay, cool. And so, I was also thinking like about how all we would have to do is just connect every little piece, every little, like we need to unify and connect more than ever. And then as smaller groups connect to bigger groups, regional groups, and the next thing you know, we're all on one page and on code, okay, about what we want and how we're going to go about holding this corporation accountable, okay. This is out. Let's see. It's like they used a portion of people to magnify closed shop monopolies. Yeah. Those sold monopolies. That's interesting. And it says we all don't have trust, and that's how they target us because it makes you a ward of the state. Well, see, that's what I'm saying, and this also goes back to, that Malcolm X line about how we allowed our enemy to teach our children, and basically what happens was when we decided to send our children to white schools, okay, and not to sound, it's not, I'm literally specifically talking about the history. Not trying to be racist, not trying to be divisive, not trying to bring up race and playing race cards. No, I'm talking about specific, like when we do Ruby Bridges walks and things like that. And what does that really mean? It means that originally there was only colored and white. And I'm telling you through the foundation that the colored people are being classified as American, according to Ancestry.com, which we are connecting to the definition of American. We're connecting to the original census records. The Black folks were here first, and the settlers, we started to send our children to the settler schools. And what do you think that they were taught there? They were taught to continue to buy into a system that they were free from originally, and that they were from someplace else. It's crazy when you really start to understand what's going on, and how it's important now than ever that we figure out what we want our littles to learn. And that reminds me of, I mentioned before on this channel about a fellow parent in the school district my children are in, who is not a colored person, a person of color, or maybe, I don't know. You know, people identify all different types of ways these days. So I don't know how she identifies, but now I'm getting down a whole nother line. Doesn't matter. An ally, that's a good one. An ally of ours, okay, was talking about how what I've shared with her is, you know, had sparked, one sparked her interest to have shared it with some people at a school event, you know, a multicultural event where the FAIRE and what we teach was represented, and how that sparked a conversation amongst the families there about what we want our children to learn. And so, you know, it gets deep into that, and Jay Remy, if you listen, I was thinking, I was like, you know, what we're really going to do is really start to meet more often of those of us are the friends of the FAIRE, because it's like, it's one thing to visualize what we need to do, and there's another thing to actually plan and execute. And you know, for those people who are interested, we'll get into different ways to do that, okay, as well as locally too. I realize it's like, girl, you're gonna get it together. I'm excited. You know, we have to think with the perspective of the eagle, okay, from a higher perspective. How are we really going to truly enlighten the world about who we are, you know? And as much fun, okay, as we have on platforms like this talking, you know, is this really going to accomplish our goals? You know, and in some ways, yes, it is. We're going to continue to build a community, and this will be a good place for, you know, me to share these things that I know and stuff like that, so that we can build this community. But a lot of the work has to happen locally, and we can connect with people in different areas. Okay, what we build, we can kind of like streamline it, standardize stuff. This goes back to all of the original reasons of why the original organization with the coalition. Okay, it's still very much that. Okay, with the focus on the restoration and the education. I'm really reflective right now. Okay, we pulled those cards, and I'm now I'm reflecting on everything. So this is interesting. Thank you. Eachman Teachman says, what's interesting is that we had many Black towns and cities all over America, and during the same time indigenous land was being stolen, those Black towns were also being overthrown. Exactly. Well, it's the same thing, right? That's how they were stealing the land, by overthrowing the towns. It's the same story, right? You know, obviously, you're bringing it up, but yeah, that's that's kind of another thing that we need to be able to teach, is that, you know, when the land was stolen, it was stolen from Black folks. Okay, And every time that they were able to steal land, we became more and more, well, one, you're taking resources from people. And as we escaped, we would join other tribes, and you know, that's the reason why it's like places like Chicago, there's so much violence stuff. It's like a whole bunch of tribes stacked up on each other, and zero to like very little resources. And I hear they were dropping off guns on corners and stuff like that. This is all by design to continue to destabilize Black communities, so that we would never, you know, reestablish what we once had, which was freedom, by knowing the land, by knowing how to do stuff. You know, we can still get back to that. I've been thinking about that a lot. Art and self, I'm trying to keep up multitasking. Okay, cool. It's with you, so. Hey, Wingapo. Hey, what's good, cousin? We got the Verena fam in the house. George Richard said Lisa Cypress is her name. What are we talking about? Hi, big ups to clan mother Lisa. I know, right? Let's see. Where are we at? I don't know what that's in reference to, Brother George. Remind me. We have to force the system to do what it was originally not designed to do. We are not broken. We're battle tested. I love that, Daryl Butler. And I've been thinking about that too. It's like, you know, because facing tasks like this, it makes you feel hopeless. It makes you feel like what are we going to do? How are we going to, you know, make people listen? And it can get very frustrating, but it's also like, nope, we're armed with the truth, you know, and we just have to focus on it. And that's why, you know, it's important for us to figure out ways to be able to sustain ourselves and our mission, as far as just land can help sustain us. You know what I mean? Funding, you know, getting into a certain system, because it's like that really what it is. It's like people are so tired from being in this system all the time, that nobody really has time to dedicate to the restoration. We're gonna get more into that, but no, for real, like, you know, that's what we really need is like full-time dedicated people on the mission with, you know, all the resources and everything that, you know, the system gets. We would need that so that we can, you know, help people reconnect to their roots. You know, as doors are being closed on us, as our elders are dying with their memories of what really happened here and what's going on and who they remember in these towns and stuff like that. Like, it's wrong. It's not right what's happening. And that's just basically what this is. And I feel like I don't get a chance to say that enough. And really, to who? That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, I want things to count. Saying something once doesn't cut it, right? This is getting into like the Happy Feet. I was telling you guys about that movie Happy Feet with the penguins, and how he was trying to get the humans' attention to say, hey, what they were doing was killing his people, his penguins, okay? And he got their attention by tap dancing, which is so kind of offensive, right? He's like, oh, that's the only time they listen to us. We got tap dance. We got right? And like, okay. But basically what he did was he showed he went back home and he showed all the rest of the people how he did this tap dance. And next thing you know, they started realizing, like, oh, well, everybody's doing it. And they realized how to fix the problem. That's what we have to do, is we have to become unified, and we have to get on the same page, whatever that page is. And you know what? And it's like, that's for this portion of what we got to do, as far as, you know, reestablishing ourselves as Americans, okay? As Americans, right in the time where they're trying to really make us feel so uncomfortable that we would voluntarily leave to another country. And people be telling me that, like, oh yeah, we got to move. We got to go to Africa. We got to go to France. We got to go somewhere. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. America is my home. I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, and not because things are so great here, but because it's like, this is my homeland, my motherland. I've been here for forever. And no, just because people aren't behaving and they're not doing, I mean, I don't know. This could be. Now I'm on a rant. I got some my system in. I'm on a rant. Okay. Hey, what's good, V Cooper? Welcome. Not to mention, African American term came in the 80s, Black and Afro American in the 70s, Negro and colored prior to this. Yet these terms are used to confirm identity without questioning the source. Exactly. They're calling it African American, but it's like that's new. You know what I mean? What were we before that? And even then, you know what I mean? We had tribal names, and even some that some people were just free on the land. What do you call us? And that's why sometimes the tribe would be really named after the river or something like that. You know what I mean? It would be like, or just people. Like they would be like, what do you mean? Like, what is our name? And because some of that is a very corporate way of going about things with the names and the titles and stuff. Sometimes they'd get there and like, what do you want to, what do you call you guys? And we'd be like, I don't know, the people, like Ishak, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. What does Ishak mean, right? I do believe it's just the people. The people, right? They were like, we're the people. What do you mean? We were giving them literally our word for people, beings, okay? Because we're like, well, I don't know, but really they wanted a name and stuff so they can register folks. When you register folks, and you can start to tax or expect some sort of tribute or whatever the situation is. It's all part of the system to get people involved. It's almost like like a marketing scheme. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like, we want to enroll you in this. We want to get you in there so that we can somehow make some sort of, and then they make it seem like it's mutually beneficial. And maybe in some cases it was, but things have gotten flipped on us. And the main crazy part about it is that, as Americans, we have a way bigger say than anything. And we also, this information that we're teaching through the FAIRE should really shut any of the debates down, because it's like people are saying, well, this is the information. Well, where'd you get that from? The settlers, right? Who wrote that? A settler? Oh, because if it's not written, if it's not, we have every right to tell our own stories. We are the Americans, okay? We're going back to the Ancestry.com, okay? There are African American communities. We're Americans. We are the Americans they were referring to in that 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Hold on, let me. Definition. We are the Aboriginals, the copper-colored Americans. That's why we're the Americans and they are the settlers. They didn't give the nationality, the ethnicity American to the settlers because they're from Europe. They're not American. They're being called American now, right? Because now it's applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America, but originally it was applied to the Aboriginals or the copper-colored ones, right? The free inhabitants that they were calling black. The ones they were calling the N-word in early U.S. history. 1790, that's early U.S. history. Okay, yeah. Got to keep that Malcolm X energy flowing, for sure. Yes. Award only by volunteering in Title 42 welfare. Ooh, this is interesting. And oppressed by presumptions of law. When we are the beneficiary at all times. And that's the whole entire point. And then that's why they'd be like, oh, well, these people, they're just, there used to be stories, okay, of why, you'll hear, there's many of them, of white people on their deathbed telling the truth about why, they would want to confess, okay, before death, about their hand in getting some young black people killed. And a lot of the times, if you listen, they say that they were jealous. They were jealous of the little black kids because they had so much more than them. People don't understand that the story was, right, in early history is the colored people, actually, we had everything. We were attached to the land. And the settlers, they came here, they were under the taxes. They were miserable. They were the ones in the debt slavery. And that's the reason why they would gang up and they would kill us off, because they wanted our birthright. We were living here free. And what's so crazy is we let them live here free, but they were still under them. That's the whole entire reason why they had the revolution, because they wanted to get these people off of them so that they can live here free like the Americans. That's why they are now considered Americans. You guys understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry to yell. I don't mean to yell. I promise not to yell. But it's like when you really start to understand what has happened here, things start to become clear. So, dang, don't let me forget what we're talking about. We're talking about, yeah. So back to them being jealous, okay? And not just, and I don't want to sound so mean, because it's like, no, anybody who is in the system, if they saw people just living free, and it's like, oh, they didn't have to, they're not having to trade their time with their family and you know, their mental health and everything for you know, a roof over their head. They just have everything they live. They say that we lived in necessity. Okay, we had everything that we needed. You know, our homes, the food, the love, like that's what made America free. But you know, they talk about that in the movie, in the intro to Maleficent. They say, you know, let me tell you an old story and see how well you know it. And they talk about how in one kingdom, there was people like you and me. Now, what's so funny is when you're watching these movies and you're hearing it, and you're hearing it from the you and me, you're listening it from the perspective of the settler, okay, of people within the system. And those people were always discontent because they were under some vain and greedy king, okay, with the taxes and all this stuff. And not just that, but you understand what I'm saying? Like the slavery, where very few people at the top benefit and everybody else is working for them. That's what we're talking about. And this goes back to like feudal systems and things like that. You guys get what I'm saying? And then they're saying, and they were always jealous of because they were always jealous of their neighbors, because in the neighboring kingdom were the Moors, okay, which is another word that they would use for the indigenous brown people of the lands, okay? Specifically the north of Africa and Europe, that's the regional term for the indigenous people of those lands. And other, I mean, whatever. Those are all Moor, Black, Indian, Aboriginal, Native. Those usually were the terms that they were giving to the other, okay? the people who are not the colonist, okay? Like I said, there was the white and the black side, okay? We're getting into it. I'm going to play the Maleficent clip. Dang, I don't think we ever, I was got to be reminded me. And then I got to go because I'm realizing I'm on here a little longer than I thought so. Where are we at? Here he goes, right?
Once upon a time, there were two kingdoms that were the worst of neighbors. So vast was the discord between them that it was said only a great hero or a terrible villain might bring them together. In one kingdom lived folk like you and me, with a vain and greedy king to rule over them. They were forever discontent and envious of the wealth and beauty of their neighbors. For in the other kingdom, the Moors, lived every manner of strange and wonderful creature, and they needed neither king nor queen, but trusted in one another.
Okay, and yeah, that's even going back to the trust, right? Because any trust, it's relied upon, you know, the faith, the trust in one another. We ruled one another. We held each other accountable. And we have to get back to that, to, you know, setting codes and living by it. And hey, what's good, Vixen 99? Hey, what's good? Hey, welcome, Vixen. Oh no, it's good. Welcome. And thank you so much for coming. Oh my god, I am gonna have to get going. Let me see. You know, V Cooper. It says, yes, this renewed debate about birthright citizenship had yet to touch on the European and their story as immigrants. And that's what I keep saying. I keep wanting to say that our standing here as Americans, right? And that's why what we're teaching here is so, it's really revolutionary. So it's like everything that this administration right now is doing as far as setting these rules and standards up for who can be here and who needs to be deported and stuff, they would fail the test every single time. Okay, because they are the immigrants who have committed the most atrocities here. Like they would be charged, and the rap sheet is long. Okay, it's Route 66 long. Okay, a rap sheet of atrocities and crimes against the humanity that has been committed here at the hands of the settlers. And so they're walking themselves into this corner of but the whole entire thing is that's a whole moot point if the original people don't know who we are and we're not standing on one. Like the debates, like I don't care what you want to call it, what religion people are from, any of those things. If you go back and you're one of the people that they're considered an American, which would be the black folks, right? We know are you a black person, you've been here prior to 1850. Okay, what is the cutoff, you guys? You've been here prior to whatever this is. You are an original American, and you could we would need to unite our voices so that anything that we say and declare is strengthened by all of us. How are we to celebrate stuff like Juneteenth and the 4th of July without ensuring of our freedom and our interests now? Okay, A was good. A, big salute, Wilmore Reed. Welcome. Let me see. Oh, I'm loving the glasses. We're stating the common senses with Fauci juice will never make us trade places with the clone. All right, whatever shade of skin they may be in, they live. Well, that's what I was thinking about that the other day too, about like how the great lengths that has been taken to dumb us down through the pharmaceuticals, the vaccines, the food, but still it's like that's why it's important for us to stand on these things, to continue to speak out, to get standardized. That's the biggest thing. I really have to figure out what I'm doing about that. Because it's like we need to be on one page. 200 years at minimum. That's what, 1825? 25? What year? What year are we in? Okay, cool. Right? The 1820s. Can you get back past the 1820s? And that would also be depending on the states and where you're at, right? Some places we didn't have weren't documented yet. Some places weren't states yet. They know inside they're all immigrants. That's why the media is being divisive and trying to make this the land of immigrants. Right. And who else was I talking to about that? About the look of the Irish and about how America's filled with immigrants. And then the black kid was like, "Yeah, I'm Cherokee." Right. Disney loves to put little things like that. It's like, no, we're not all immigrants. We've been here. You guys might all be, right? And there's nothing wrong with that too. It's like America was a place of refuge. We, you know what I mean? We offered sanctuary to people who were coming here, escaping, religious persecution and all types of stuff. But for them to turn around and not understand, but that's why it's like, if people don't know, that's fine, but we have to do what we have to do. Yeah, I'm so down. Let's do brunch, sis. Hit me up. I'm so down. We're gonna have to what was I talking about? Oh, we have to do our due diligence to stand on this information ourselves. And I have ideas and I have ways, but it's like we have to get serious about this to really implement. But I realize it starts really with the planning. I have to do more planning. Me, haha. What are you talking about, Mama Mike? Me. 4th century Scots politics for childhood from the conjoining islands up until Liverpool. Spoke Gaelic. No Africans spoke that. More than 100 Gaelic words in the American English dictionary. And says the thing about attitudes is you've been too nice to develop individuals. It still stands to this day. Well, yeah, and that is a thing. Yeah, we've often been so, we're just kind people. I mean, and that's another reason why it's like looking at the movie The Trolls. Like, not only does it teach us that the Black people were here first, right, and that how we were encroached. I've talked about that before, and how they were hanging us off of trees and stuff like that. Is that me and you, Jay Remy? We were talking about the luck of the Irish. Yes, exactly. I'll play that clip. Let me see. That's a good one to play. But but that we were so nice. We were like the trolls. We were joyful. We were singing. We used to dance, and when we were living in freedom. So that's why it's like we weren't so stressed out about stuff. We were just living. We're going fishing today. You know what I mean? We're dancing. We're cooking. We're cooking. Okay, we were doing, like, we were just living, and I don't know. It's sad that bit us in the butt. We were so open and nice to people, but I don't know. That's why it's like everybody should have a right to freedom and happiness, and nobody should be subject to the colonial trappings. Okay, and that's just really what it gets down to. Just look at the 1800s. All of the homelessness, famines, natural disasters, and wars going on in Eurasia during that time period. You talking about what made them come here? Yeah, exactly. And they came here and it was like, abundance, and everybody wanted to live like us. Hey, peace and blessings, Trovy. Welcome. Greetings. Okay, let me see. Brushing strokes of history abstracted from the building. I love that. Okay, so we'll get into luck of the Irish, and then I'm gonna talk about Wilmington. Then I'm gonna go. So I've been on here for 10 minutes. I gotta get back to the kids. Let me see. Come on now. Now, come on now, y'all. Where is it? Might not be that serious. I hate spending time looking for things. I've talked about it before on this channel. I'll have to go and I'll undo it, and I'll share that again. A long time ago. All right, we'll come back to that one. Anyway, I'm going to read about the Wilmington Massacre. I'll share that screen. Let me spend some time. Yep. Okay, cool. We're on the same page. Yeah, I mean, it's so wrong to come to somebody's land and kill them and take it. Like, that's really what the story about them taking land. They were taking the Black people's land, hanging us from trees, and thousands of us were having to escape, and we were running away from folks. I mean, they talk about that even in the oh god, this is gonna break my heart thinking about this. Oh, this is interesting. Child. Hold on now. Vixen 99, just email it to me because I don't want no people to be calling you or saying nothing crazy. But yeah, hit me up. I'll text you. Indian training policy. Well, yeah, they were looking for standing. They wanted, they literally wanted to assume the identity. Instead of saying, that's why they started to call themselves. They were like, after they got people to run out of a town, because mind you, they don't teach us that the indigenous people of the Woodland Territory, which would be, so do I have that too? Just a little bit. There we go. I'm trying to see if I can find what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look at this. So let me share. I can't find it, but basically what I was going to show you guys is this. So we'll do that real quick, and then I'll get into the. That's here. Oh, not this one. This is what they would call the Woodland Territory, and I'll finish that thought. The people of those lands, we lived in towns. We weren't living in teepees. We had towns with houses, and depending on where the area, the houses were built with different things, but it'd be like set up towns, like with houses in certain areas, fishing places, you know what I mean? The docks in certain areas. Like when they came on the treaties and stuff, they were asking for like, it was like specific and long, like we want all of the houses, all of the buildings, all of the outposts, all of the fishing docks. We want like, meaning that all of that stuff was built already before they took it. If we're talking about treaties, sometimes we would be, out on the coast or whatever at the beach during the summertime, we'd come back to the main town and people were living there. Okay. That was another thing. They would call those abandoned towns. Oh, we came upon an abandoned town. It wasn't abandoned. We just weren't there. And they couldn't imagine why literally everybody in town was gone. But it was because we're family. We're clans. We live together. It's like, of course we're all going down to the beach. That's what we're doing right now. We're cooking. We're living. It's vacation time. Okay. Not everybody was thinking, no, we have to clock into Mr. Johnson and work on his mill for the next 3 hours. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And there's another portion of the play. Shout out to Vixen 99. She came to the show in San Francisco. Thank you so much again, sis. Okay, cool. What do you call it? But there's another the script that the play that we presented was only half of the script, but there was some amazing scenes about the it's good. It's like scenes inspired by that photo from the Boston Tea Party. Let me see if I can find it. No. The Florida War in the early 1800s. I love hearing. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get into it. Now I'm going into so many different things. Let me get into the Wilmington Massacre. Okay, it's a coup d'état of 1898. In 1897, North Carolina's Democratic Party decided to embark on a white supremacy campaign to try to drive populist and Republican politicians out of office during the 1898 election. The campaign used speeches, propaganda, cartoons, and the threat of violence to create support for white supremacy. Okay, so also, if people don't know that originally the Democratic Party is what people would consider like the Republicans now, and the Republicans were the Negroes. We were the Republic, okay, and we represented ourselves. We represented ourselves, and basically, what was happening was we did have allies within the group, and some of the people who had run and stuff were white too, because we were doing this together. This whole, we're going to come together and defeat the enslavement and the terror that was going on in the South, right? And what happened was it ended up switching at a certain point in time, so that the idea was that we would back white representatives, okay? And also because what was going on in, just like we're reading right here with this Wilmington massacre, is they were doing stuff like this, white supremacy campaigns, where they were terrorizing people. They used to have like baseball cards with the candidates. So think about it. You're running for office. You're a black man running for office, and the Democrats, these other people who are running against you or whatever, is putting up these cards and putting them, like giving them to the KKK, and the KKK were creating them. You understand what I'm saying? But they were distributing them to the racists in the area, saying, if you see this person, kill them. They're like hitman cards and stuff like that. They were terrorizing us so that we would scare not to run. And so basically what we did was we started to decide to elect the white people to represent us. Go in there, do things for us. And that's how we kind of got into the situation. Now we're thinking that they're doing stuff for us, but really it's just the good cop, bad cop situation, the out of the hood, in the hood. And not to say that white people are evil and all of them really want these things, because no, that's not it. Some of the white people are the people, you know, we the people just like us, just like the original people that we trusted. But these continue to get usurped. The more and more that we gave our rights and our, you know, our they have the right to govern ourselves, you know, and for whatever reasons, like so who was in there mentioning the contracting with the welfare is what took us and made us become wards of the state, right? They make it seem like this is, oh, don't you want, you know, we'll be able to take care, we'll do these things to take care of you. Like the story of the gosh, like I said, I'll never forget when we were talking, when my children were, my oldest daughter, she was going to this homeschool out in the Central Valley, and her counselor was telling me about the indigenous history of the land. And he was talking about how, you know, another situation where they were in the foothills for a season, and when they came back down to the town, not the city, but the town, they came back to their town. The settlers were there, and they were like, oh, well, you know, you got to go back up to the foothills. And they're like, well, this is our place. We come down here, we gather acorns and stuff. They're like, don't worry, we'll gather the acorns for you. You just got to, you know, can you guys go or whatever, right? And they did, and that happened for like 3 different winters, coming back down. And then on the 3rd one or whatever, the settlers were like, well, we gave you acorns last time. And they're like, what? And then they started this huge insurrection. And then they hung one of the Indian boys, right? This is right here in the Central Valley. And what kind of people do they hang on trees in America? Okay, let me say that. Mind you, he also talked about the character of these indigenous people in California who used to roll dice with acorns, right? That's something super, you know, it's a people. In fact, you know, I think I do have, oh, you know, I can just show you guys right here. 1 second. Do we have images of the original people of California? Let me see. I do have one too. Let me sing so down. This is not the tribe. These are the people of the Bay Area. We're talking about more of the Central Valley, but you can see that even here in California, the original people were dark skinned. Sorry. And then I'll go back to the Wilmington Massacre. I'm going down a tangent now, but yeah. Anyway, he started to talk about how they came upon that abandoned town and took it over, and they're always saying that they're going to do something for us, right? Like gather the acorns, but eventually they stopped doing the things that they said they're going to do, or they use that as a way to get us in their system, right? Where we've now given up our rights to certain things. And he even said, he was like, yeah, and then one time they came and there was a toll to cross the river. And he was like, and then they really knew they were in trouble. Ha ha ha. And he laughed, and he was talking about how, yeah, that's when we conquered these people over here. When we conquered these people, and they were using words like that. And I thought it was very interesting. As long as I'm in Cali, I'm going to represent Queen Khalifa. Yes, I love that. All right. Okay. Look at these people. The original Californians. Very, very, very richly complected. Okay. Woolly hair and thick hips. Okay, let me get back to it. Sorry, y'all. My mind be everywhere. Let me take this down. Put this up. Let me get back into it. Okay, where are we at? So yeah, the campaign used speeches, propaganda, cartoons, and the threat of violence to create support for white supremacy. Okay, that's what that was what was going on to why we stopped moving to put us in, and it was dangerous for us to, because we were whooping. We were winning. Like, we would win these elections because there was more of us. God. On November 8th, 1898, New Hanover County's Democrats used threats and intimidation to stop African Americans from voting. Pro-Democratic Party election officers tampered with the returns. Because of these tactics, Democrats swept the election. On November 10th, 1898, 2 days after the contested election, a mob of armed white men marched to the office of the Daily Record, the local African American newspaper, and set it on fire. That's horrible. After burning the Daily Record offices, a violent mob then took to the streets and on the north side of town attacked African Americans. An unknown number of African Americans died. Other people, white and black, okay, that's who were there, were banished from the city. On the same day, local elected officials were forced to resign and replaced by white supremacist leaders. Do you guys see what I'm saying? The local elected officials, okay, were forced to resign. They're replaced. They're always getting rid of, the people that the representatives that the local people want, and replacing it with figureheads that are part of the system. Okay, once generally referred to as a riot, these events are now more widely understood to have been a white supremacist massacre. Oh my God. And a coup d'etat. Explore the context of 1898 massacre and coup with this map in Thailand. Okay, so you guys see what I'm saying, though. Thank you so much for sharing that. Who shared this? Was that the real Autonomous Defense League? Who shared this with me? What are we talking about? Whoever those. Thank you, guys. Who shared that? I don't know. But there we go. Exactly. Where they're trying to make it seem like oh, these are rights. Like, no, these people were literally taking over towns, and the people who were in leadership of these towns were the original people, and they are usurping the area. Oh my God. And then you got to think, like, of course, people, the people who were left behind, they're scared to death because they saw tons of family and friends get murdered and things like that. Of course, they're going to step right in line. Yeah, do whatever. And it's like that's really another way that people were enslaved. Were through situations like that. This is sick, because when you really start to understand, they're prisoners of war. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. This is deep. Hey, I'm loving this, truth be told. Well, you know what? They're probably yeah, I'm still on Proton Vixen 99. They probably says, and now the Republicans always say this is their people's land. The irony. Well, it's because they are still like, anything that they take over, they're standing from that position. So if they're taking over the identity of American, they are now the republic, right? When the original republic were the people, and the original people were the Aborigines, the freedmen, the free people, the free inhabitants, those who were originally here. If they're now operating as them, of course they're going to say this is our land. We're the Americans. You see what I'm saying? It's part of the, and mind you, that's why I find that I sometimes agree with some of the Republican ideology, because I'm like, okay, yeah, there's certain things that should be preserved. Okay, like I don't want to get into a whole bunch too much, but do you understand what I'm saying? The Republican, the real ideals of freedom that the Republicans believe came from our ancestors in the first place. It's the American way. That's what I would say. And my people, we helped create the Union Republican Party. Let me show you guys a little bit about my ancestry. I have any of that with me. And then I gotta go because now I do gotta go. Sorry. We'll be back. I want to do these more often because I know I say that every single time, but I've been living, and I'm trying to get through. But now I'm realized, like, gosh, it's why is this moving so slowly? It's time to buckle down. Why is this moving so slow? Oh, here we go. This is a good lesson within itself. And then I'm gonna Joseph and Henry Cox. I'm of the Coxes, okay? But anyway, they helped to create the Union Republican Party, okay? We are the Republicans. The Republicans were filled with colored folks and white folks, and we know, let me see, I don't know if I have that one with me, but we know that the Indian descendants all over the Tidewater of Virginia were induced by the carpetbaggers to take on the status of colored people, okay, during Reconstruction. And these are the colored people we find during Reconstruction, okay? They were the Virginian. That's how you know what the Virginia Indians look like, okay? Because there was no people that looked like the people that they're showing us as Native Americans today back then. It was just colored and white, okay? I'm of the Hildebrands. I mentioned the Hildebrands earlier, of the Trail of Tears. That's my triple great grandfather, George Aguinaldo Hildebrandt. We come from the wagon master of the Hildebrandt route of the Trail of Tears. Okay, we're a mixed branch, and these girls, including my great grandmother right here at the bottom, Dorothy Hildebrandt. These sisters were the children of their father, who was he was a mulatto of this white man, and the indigenous women that they always hide, right? They always hide the grandma, the dark-skinned grandma, because that's the person whose bloodline that they're taking over, right? And then they declare themselves, we're the chiefs. So these are some of the white men. His brother was Peter Hildebrandt. There's a lot about Peter, and I connect this story to Peter Pan, like literally. He was a Peter Pan motherfucker. Meaning, like, just like no, gosh, you guys, I feel like I'm going down so many tangents right now. Let me try to stay focused, child. And the founders of Pocahontas, Arkansas, from their mother's side. Okay, so their fathers were the Hildebrandts, their moms were the side were the founders of Pocahontas, Arkansas. I also come from George Washington and Billy Lee, and George's Negro son, West Ford. So it's like, that's another part about wanting to encourage people to get into their genealogies, because you'll find out that your ancestors literally are, super tied to American history. Okay, and it'll start to be very clear who the colored folk were, or who the colored folk are, and who the settlers aren't, really, when you really get down to it. Because how are you going to be a white person declaring yourself a chief of a tribe that were considered inwards? Okay. But that's what you find now when you start to look at the 5 civilized tribes now, like on their websites. All the people on the board, and it's just a company, and they're white. But the original people were dark skinned. So what are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? There we go. That's all it is. Okay. Instead of welfare, I can cite certain legislative intent that preserves the beneficiary's right to natural resources, which is shelter and food, etc. I'm loving this. So this is what we need too. As far as like, and that's why, when I think about everything that we need to do as a people, as it relates to the restoration and how we're going to, get things organized for us so that we can do this in a an efficient and, you know, streamlining and safe manner, okay? So that we can reclaim who we are and we can, you know, receive the services and the benefits and what we are owed, okay? Not only do we need to educate the public on who we are, we need to educate ourselves on how to operate, right? And some people right now we're working it out through the system, trial and error. How do we figure out how are we supposed to operate in this, right? And that's okay. Anybody, especially us being the heirs to, you know, the richest estate in the world, right? America, you know, because our elders were killed off at one point, we never learned how to properly set ourselves up, okay, as the beneficiaries. And so it's like, that's another part of the unification. We would need to unite with all of these people who are trying to figure out what's going on. And we would need to unite just the people ourselves so that we can just demand and say, hey, okay, well, we're not playing these games anymore. Okay, we're, you know, this is who we are. We're Americans. I don't know really who you guys are. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? And why we're needing to ask for, you know what I mean, the things that we need. We're gonna have to figure out another way for this to for us to be able to operate. And do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, and that really starts with, I don't know, coming to the table on so many different levels. I've been thinking, like, I don't know, I'm really going back to that unification piece and putting together teams that will help us reach out to, you know, different organizations, like different brands, even if we are able to really connect with just certain local branches of NAACP and then figure out how we're able to disseminate certain, you know, this information to all branches. You know, that's how we need to really look at this. How are we going to make these partnerships with, and mind you, it doesn't have to just be the NAACP. Okay, it could be anything. It could be a House of Consciousness. Okay, it could be whatever these different sects of people are, the Black Israelites and and the Divine Nine, like just, you know, Black folk in general, so that people can understand what's going on, and then we can, I don't know, we have to come together. I've been thinking about that a lot. But anyway, I love you guys. I will play one song. Are you related to the singer Deborah Cox? I don't know, maybe, perhaps. Where is she? Where are her people from? Are they from Virginia? Then probably. Oh God, that's like mud. Good job. Let me see, y'all. Go back. Way too long. Sorry. You would think that my computer's about to die. Oh wait, it's moving so slowly. That's all the way up. We all the way up. So yeah, if you know, because really, honestly, that's really what we should be teaching, right? Hold on a second now. I'm gonna cue up the song and then I'm gonna comment a little bit more on what you're saying about this. That's important because stuff is there. Things have been hidden in plain sight, really, but we've been taught to pay attention to other things. But the certain legislative intent, okay, all those things, we need to be able to, you know, document these things, teach people that's what our kids should be learning in their Sunday schools or whatnot, you know. And if that, maybe that's even, you know, part of, I mean, there's so much that I want to do and things that I see that need to be done. You know, we need to, I don't know. I'm trying to move away from just the visionary part because it's like, I want to implement more and more of these, which we have. I mean, like, I think about it like, I'm trying to turn my mud and back into some tea. But, but we need to figure out what we're going to do. You know, how we're going to reach, you know, the children. The children should learn all of these. They should know the definition of American. This is what I've been putting together too, as well as like, you know, for like either an after school program or maybe like a Sunday school thing. On Sundays they get dropped off. We need centers, okay, FAIRE centers, where, you know, we can provide, you know, meals for them and things like that. But they can come and they'll learn. They need every American child would know, you know, the definition of American. They would know all of this history that we teach through the FAIRE. But like, you know, there's cool ways to teach, and I've been working on some of those and maybe I'll share some of that more. Okay, definitely, Vixen, I got you. It's in my link. A warm summer night moving forward. Linktree is a warm summer night moving forward. What does that mean? 5 3/4 just to get the ball rolling. What is this? Okay, tell me. I don't know. What is Linktree? Let me. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I just made a Linktree. This is just for the different links of who you are and like the like where they can find you and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Do people add each other as friends on here? Is it social? I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, cool. All right, let me see. You else hear that? Get about it. It's been good talking to you. Maybe some tarot. It's been a long time. Wow. Okay, let's go up. So what I'm getting here with the Six of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and then the White card, it's really giving me it's your thing. Do what you want to do with the Wheel of Fortune on the back of the deck. Spirit is saying go for it. Whatever it is that you're inquiring about, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. You might be hesitant with the Nine of Wands, like you've been through a lot in your past. Ooh, thank you, Spirit. It's coming through. Let me just give this channel a message. So you might, like I said, you might be hesitant on doing what you want to do because you've been taught in the past that you can't. For some reason, you've hit walls or obstacles or whatever, and so what should be possible, right, becomes impossible because, you know, other people who have accepted their limitations have taught you that can't be done or whatever. Okay, but I'm seeing that things have shifted. Okay, in your favor, in our favor, and that there's a shocking shift. Also, after a time of no contact, I'm getting somebody's coming through with an apology. They're going to want to tell the truth to you. There's something about justice being served. This could be a family situation. I'm getting a boss, though. There's a big boss, an emperor, a hierophant, somebody in a leadership position here. What about this person? What does everything want to say? Maybe let's switch between these people. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, this person wants to apologize for this. It couldn't get worse. I thought it couldn't get worse. Then we have the 5 of Swords and the 7 of Swords, right? Which is already very disgusting, low vibrational, deceitful energy. Like, by any means necessary, this person did some stuff to betray someone. Because look at the card that was opened up on the 10 of Swords. That's like the ultimate betrayal. Then this man, this is a father figure, a boss. Yeah, he's coming through. King of Pentacles, King of Cups with the Emperor here and the Hierophant. This person has a lot of feelings for you. This is getting really specific. Who in here is reading this? What's going on? Yeah, whatever they want. They have a gesture of love or whatever that they want, and it might be very public. Yeah, the Empress. You see, as the Empress. They have this person is enamored. I'm hearing with you. I think you're very smart and astute. Something about your work. Something also about things being protected. You didn't know, like behind closed doors, things have been protected, and people are facing judgment. Somebody might. I don't want to say that, but some people are paying with their life for something. I don't know. The 10 of Swords did come through. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. This is interesting. At the Hanged Man, yeah. I'm also getting a body. And there's also something about being patient, because like there's evidence about something that's happened in the past. And that if somebody's feeling very, very sad, that there's going to be renewal and healing. Somebody's just bound them up into thinking that there's no way out. But something is about to burst forth. There's newness. Okay, that's about it. I hope everybody had a wonderful time tuning in. Hey, replay gang. That's good. We're going to continue to explore ways to really get more real work done. Real work. And if you do want to, if you're dedicated to this mission, which is to, sharing with the world the true identity of the American Negro and finding ways to restore us, back in as, who we are in contemporary society as well as history. And just like what, who was that talking? Is that Truth Be Told talking about the, ways to protect that preserves the beneficiary's rights to natural resources and things like that. If you're into that, you can always contact me. You can contact me by email. I'm either at the American Heiress at protonmail.com, or you can find me at Christian Stovall at FAIRE Rules, FAIRE rules.org. You can join the FAIRE, be a friend of the FAIRE. You can always message me on there. Or just subscribe and send me a message through the website. We're just going to continue to organize and use our time wisely so that we can continue to get the things that we need to get. Let's see, what is this? I don't know. Somebody's been waiting for a very long time. He's like a very professional man. This is giving me anxiety for some reason. Yeah, this is something about the Lovers, Hermit, and the Sun. Saving all my love for you. I'm seeing this open heart situation here. Look. Right? I was looking, it's like this Hermit is going to open up, and it's like the sun is going to beam out of their chest. Once this person opens up to tell the truth, like in the beginning of this reading, like they're coming here to make things clear, to tell you how they feel. But look, it's like this is open up here too with the Lovers. It's like there's something about being open, expressing exactly how you feel. This person might say this is a dream come true. Also, I'm getting diplomatic dinners. I'm getting the embassy. I'm also getting the embassy suites, whatever that means to anybody. Maybe you're at the embassy suites right now. I don't know. There's something about you coming together with somebody and it's like day and night, like 2 coins. Like there's something about because these people have come together, like something impossible is going to happen. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Hope all is well. Thank you guys so much. Hey, it was good. That white card means, I feel like it really means it's like that there's a clean slate, that you shouldn't do. There's nothing imprinted on you, so you don't have to move forward with the things that you thought were once were. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Okay, you don't have to be held or limited by what has happened previously. I'm really seeing that. I wonder if Cat's gonna show up in the cards. Still got cats coming around in the backyard. I love it. That's your spirit animal. You can, yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, that's good. Each one. Thank you guys both. Thank you guys for the cipher. This was awesome. Oh my! Just recently found out my ex-boyfriend is deceased. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Vixen99. That's my condolences, my sincerest condolences. That's really sad. Sorry. I'm piece of the cipher. The link is shared to the show. Y'all go ahead and follow Truth Be Told. Show me it again. Where we at? Which one? Drop one. I'll share it. And I'm about to get on. Condolences, yes. Yeah, death is here. That's scary, huh? Y'all, something about inheritance as well. Okay. It got real quiet. I feel like chills. God damn, I'm sorry. This reminds me of old school. Vibes. This person's also clearing everything out of their life to build something for you. I don't know what that means. You guys, please take this for what it, take it as it resonates. But I'm getting that deep. Yeah. Oh, well, good. It should be confirmation of what you already know, and it should hit everybody, how it's supposed to. So I hope it did resonate for you guys. And I'm sorry, my condolences, Vixen. Oh, you're welcome, Abby Mike. You're welcome. But and also, feel free to put it in the comment section. If you guys have link trees and whatnot, let's support one another. You guys can put it in the comments and follow each other. You guys, we can even set up a section in the forum on the FAIRE website, where we can share that sort of information with one another. Like I said, we're gonna be putting ourselves to work. I have some ideas of how we can connect. We need to I don't know. We'll talk about it in the next one, about some things that we need to do. Okay, much love, you guys. I'm sick again. My sincerest condolences. Oh, you're welcome, Vixen. You're welcome. All right, love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening.